Hi, my name is Tago. How can you increase the value of your clothing brand? Okay, I work as a copywriter, of which means I'm a sales psychologist. I understand what influence people to buy. So I'm a copywriter, which means I write advertisements, which feature these emotions that influence people to take out their wallets and make a buying decision. Okay, in this video I'm teaching you on how you can increase the perceived value of your clothing brand. So before I tell you the secret that you can implement to increase the value of your clothing brand, you should ask yourself this question: why would somebody buy something that is worth $2,000, $3,000, while they still clothes that can do the same purpose but at a lower price? Why would somebody buy a Gucci, where there's still a cheaper brand, that can do the same function that a Gucci jacket can do? The reason why somebody does that is because it's status. When people are buying Gucci, when people are buying Balenciaga, when people are buying Louis Vuitton, they are not buying actually clothes. What they are buying status. So to make your brand be perceived as a brand of high status is that you must make your brand as expensive as possible. Don't make your brand cheap. Here is why. When you make your brand cheap, then everybody can afford it, so it's no longer scarce. And then when something is not scarce, people don't perceive it as a thing of a high value. For example, our parents would tend to not value them while they're still around, but when they are gone, that's where we value them. That's where we see their value. Why? It's because now they are no longer accessible. They are now scarce. Now we are no longer having that affordability to bring them back. So now their value increases in our lives. You see, so the same applies with clothing. If you want to make your brand be perceived as a brand of high status, as a brand of high value, you must make your prices for your clothing brand as expensive as possible. Because if something is too expensive, then not everybody can afford it, only a minority. So when you are part of the minority and you afford that expensive clothing brand, and then when you come back to the society sees you as a person of high status. The society sees you as a successful person. The society sees you as a rich person. You see, so that increases the value of your brand. Don't make your brand cheap. It will become abundant. It will no longer be scarce, and then people will lose interest, because the reason why they are buying branded clothing is because they want to buy status. This mistake was done by clothing brands like Uzi, like Identity, like a Dynal Hector. Those brand they were selling their branded clothing at a cheaper price, so everybody in the society could afford them. So now their product or their brand is no longer scarce. Everybody can now afford it, so there is no excitement to continue to buy that particular brand, because everybody can now afford it. So when you are wearing it, you are not perceived as a man of high status, because I also have this thing, human beings are greedy, human beings, they want exclusivity, human beings, the attention seekers, so the only thing that can give them attention to the society is to be different. How they can be different is buying a clothing brand that is so expensive that not everybody can afford. So when you are building a clothing brand, don't make your clothes cheap. Please don't make them your clothes cheap. You are selling yourself short. Make your clothes expensive so that not everybody can afford it, so that when that one particular person afford that expensive price is perceived as a person of high status. So now it increases the value of your brand. I hope you learned one or two things out of this video. If you did, please ensure that you press the subscription button as well as the notification bell. So at the beginning of this video, I told you that I'm a copywriter, which means I write advertisements. In our current age, we've got things like emails. When you're writing an email, it's an advertisement because you are influencing a person to take a particular action. So if you are having an email list and you are looking for somebody to write you winning emails that is going to influence your prospect to take an action, don't hesitate to send me an email at sbo@sbotango.com. You had that right, sbo@sbotango.com. Then I will write you a winning email for your products and services that you are selling. Or maybe you want me to write you a sales page. Maybe you want me to copyright your website, make your website convert. Send me an email at sbo@sbotango.com. For an email, I charge $250. For a website copywriting, I charge $1,997. For a sales page, I charge $7,000. Take care, have a nice day. See you on the next video.